Joining me today in the studio are our two chiefs, our Fire Chief Jim Baird and our Police Chief Carl DeForest. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having us, Jeff.
You know, it's up to the holiday season again. We're back at that time of year that everybody loves, but it does pose some problems and some things that we all need to keep aware of. So, Carl, first of all, let's talk about safety, things that are going on in the community, things that people should be aware of during this time of the year.
Well, every year about this time when people are out and about shopping, especially for the holidays, they'll oftentimes have large sums of money in their purses, and there's lots of people in the aisles, and so inevitably we'll get probably a dozen reports of people leaving their purse or their wallet or their bag in the shopping cart and then going an aisle over, or even just 3 or 4 items left or right, and next thing you know they come back and all their valuables are gone. Their credit cards are gone, their money's gone, their identification is gone, and we want to encourage people to keep that stuff with you, you know. And if you know you're going to, if you're going out on Black Friday, if you're one of those people and you're going to be fighting those crowds, try to put those items into a small bag, which you can either drape over your shoulder or put in your pocket. And actually we have few instances where males get their wallets stolen or their identification stolen because they have it on their person or in their pocket. If you're going to have a purse, you need to make sure that you keep it close to you. And then inevitably, as the holidays roll around and we get closer to Christmas, there'll be people who will leave gifts or high money items in their vehicle, and they'll have those stolen. So if you're going to go out shopping, you're going to go to several stores, it's not a bad idea to throw a blanket in your trunk or your back seat, and when you go to a different store, cover up those items that you've purchased from a previous store so that they're not as easy to see, because if people don't think there's something in the vehicle that they want, they're less likely to break into it. And another piece of advice is to keep track of your expenditures. There's some people who will take pictures of their receipts so that they can log them on their cell phone, so that if they see any unusual activity on their credit card, they can report it immediately, because there are phishers, there's scammers, there are all kinds of devices that the bad guys use any time of the year, especially during high volume times of the year, to capture people's personal identification information and then replicate it or use it in bad fashion. In other words, they're stealing from you, and sometimes it's weeks or months before you notice because you're not checking until you get the subsequent credit card bill. So be careful, be suspicious. You don't want to be overly suspicious, but if you see something out of the ordinary, people, you know, sneaking around other people's cars, give the police department a call. We'll come out and check it out.
I know one of the things that's been it's been pretty much publicized in the media are people stealing packages off a doorstep when you're doing mail order. Has that been a problem here in town?
It actually has been, and what we find is that it's people that are normally out during the day, whether they're working or they're at school. They come home, they know the package was delivered, and now it's missing. So we advise people, if at all possible, send it to an address where you know there's going to be someone home. If you have someone who maybe works a night shift and you know they're going to be home during the day, ask them if you can have the package delivered to their house. That way somebody takes possession of it, gets it off the front step, and we've had thousands of dollars worth of boxes stolen, and most of the time the bad guys or the people who steal them don't know what's in the box until they rip the thing open, and if it's of no value to them, they'll throw it in the dumpster or throw it on the side of the street and take off. So if you know you're going to be home, have it delivered to your house. If you know you're not going to be home, try to have it delivered to somebody's residence or apartment where you know that there's going to be someone there to take possession of it.
Okay. Jim, back to you. What are some of the things from the fire perspective that you see occur during this time of year especially?
Well, there's two things. There's holiday events and there's cold weather events. I want to start with the cold weather events. As the cold weather hits, people start using their furnaces for the first time. If the furnace has not been correctly serviced, a couple of things can happen. You can get lint fires or dust fires from not having it cleaned well. You can also begin to develop CO emissions because it's not functioning appropriately. So we always recommend an annual furnace maintenance before you start using it full time. In addition to that, your CO detectors, you need to check the batteries on your CO detectors to make sure they're working appropriately, because many of the furnaces here in town are gas furnaces, and a gas furnace will produce CO if it's not burning efficiently. Also fireplaces. People will start using their fireplaces this time of year, And a fireplace requires maintenance just like a furnace does. So you should have your chimney flues swept out. You should have your fireplace inspected to make sure that all of the surrounding material that keeps the fire out of the inside of the house and out of the walls of the house are well maintained. And those things typically come with cold weather for us.
Okay.
And it just so happens that the holidays coincide with the cold weather. Start with the outside of the house. There's a lot of people use a lot of outside decorations. They'll use them year after year without looking at them. Things get old, things get defective not only with use but with age. So before you go planting electrical items out in your front yard, make sure that the wires are in good shape and that they're not going to fray on you and cause a short. Also with the new cold air inflatables that a lot of people are putting up in their front yards, those draw a heavier amperage than your typical little LED lights. So you especially want to make sure that those aren't going to create an electrical hazard. Moving into the house, again, electricity is an issue. You don't want to overload an outlet, but candles have made a huge comeback in the last 10 years. And a candle you've literally lit a fire in your house when you've lit a candle. So you should never leave a candle out in the presence of pets or children unsupervised. You should never leave a candle lit, even if you're leaving the house and you know nobody's there. You should never leave that candle lit at all. And in keeping with that, moving again to the inside of the house, Christmas trees. Some people like the natural live Christmas tree. I'd just tell you that within 4 weeks after you've cut a live tree, and most of the trees that are out on the lots have been cut more than 4 weeks ago, that tree is a fire hazard. It's perfect fuel for a rapidly spreading fire. So if you're going to have a live Christmas tree, get it fresh cut if you can. There's a lot of tree farms locally. Get it fresh cut to keep the moisture content up. Make sure you give it water so that it keeps, again, the moisture content up. And don't put any live candles or flame or anything like that around that tree, because if the Christmas tree is dry and it goes, you're going to lose your house. And that brings to this final is get your smoke detectors checked.
Sure.
In the modern fire or in the modern house, fires spread very rapidly, like literally 10 times as fast as they used to 20 and 30 years ago. So it's critically important to have those smoke detectors checked, make sure they're spaced in the house between the living spaces and the bedroom areas, one in each bedroom, one on each floor, and make sure they're working.
What are your thoughts on, this just popped into my mind, I think a lot of people use timers for their outdoor lights so that they come on, they don't have to deal with it. But what are your thoughts about having those come on and off when you're not around?
You should, I haven't given it a lot of thought, but you should not plan on having your timers used strictly for security lighting if you're gone all night. Okay, that can present an issue. If you're going to be gone all night, just turn your porch light on and leave it at that. External security is the best way to keep people out of your house, the best way to keep it safe on the inside, and having a lit front porch goes a long way towards security.
Okay.
Other than that, just be careful as you use those timers. Make sure that you're not putting more in the timer, more electrical load on the timer than you're supposed to.
Okay, and then that kind of leads me to another thing. As far as vacation safety, I know a lot of people go out of town over the holidays visiting relatives all over the country. What sort of special circumstances or things would you recommend for them to keep their home safe while they're gone?
Well, one of the worst habits people have gotten into in the last decade is posting on Facebook that I'm going to be out of town in Denver for the next 3 weeks, and they come back 3 weeks and a day later and find out that somebody broke into their house. And it's not witchcraft. It's not a wizard that's trying to figure that stuff out. I mean, if you have Facebook, somebody's going to get that information. So keep that information to yourself. Have lights on timers, like the fire chief said. Have an external light on, but try to keep it so where it's only on during the hours of darkness, because if it's on around the clock, people are going to notice it during the day. Have somebody check your residence, preferably a neighbor that you trust. Stop your mail, stop your newspapers, and have somebody check it every once in a while. And that's the best advice we can give. And if you come home and you find something out of the ordinary, something suspicious, a door open, lights on that shouldn't be, something missing or whatever, call the police and we can look into it.
All right. Well, great. Gentlemen, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today. I think, we've got a pretty good handle on some of the things to make sure your holidays are safe and happy.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
If you have an idea or topic you'd like to see covered on a future OnCenter segment, just let us know. You can email us at bat@brunswick.oh.us or give us a call at 330-220-1726.